Okay, Dr. Awad, do stay with us. We will, of course, bring you all further updates from the Middle East defining conflict, which is the Gaza crisis, as we go forward. We now move over to Australia, where Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced the expulsion of Iran's ambassador, accusing Tehran of directing anti-Semitic attacks in Sydney and Melbourne. Albanese said the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation had gathered credible evidence linking Iran to the attacks on a Sydney restaurant and a Melbourne mosque. The Prime Minister warned that the incidents come amid a sharp rise in anti-Semitic acts in Australia since the Israel-Hamas war began in October of 2023. Here's what the Australian Prime Minister stated.
Since the terrible events of October 7, 2023, we have witnessed a number of appalling anti-Semitic attacks against Australia's Jewish community. I've made it clear that these sorts of incidents have no place in Australia and that I wanted ASIO and the AFP to investigate as a priority. ASIO has now gathered enough credible intelligence to reach a deeply disturbing conclusion that the Iranian government directed at least 2 of these attacks.
We're once again joined by Dr. Awad to give us some more insight into this. Dr. Awad, how significant is Australia's decision to expel Iran's ambassador, and what precedent does that set in diplomatic relations here?
Well, as I said, it's the first time of their history they have been expelling a diplomat and an ambassador. That's also even before the full investigation have taken place and direct involvement of Iranian, if there is any. And that's a clear indication the influence of the Israelis' lobby in Australia and many countries have reached a stage where any action or any condemnation of Israel actions in the Palestinian Territory, West Bank, or in Gaza Strip have been seen as an anti-Semite. Even if you demonstrate or you criticize Mr. Netanyahu, you will be an anti-Semite. So therefore, the Australian government has to take the full responsibility of the total investigation. This is an offshore organization who carried out a year ago the attack on Israelis' interests in Australia, and therefore there is no direct link even to the Iranian. But having said that, I leave it to the investigators of the authorities in Australia to find out who is behind this attack, not only to jump the conclusion because of it is the lobby of the Israelis are quite interested in making sure that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard is also being considered or targeted as a terrorist organization, as being Israel objective of involving them or conducting them or indicting them all over the world.
Dr. Awad, obviously, we've just heard the Australian Prime Minister's statements there. What does this say about Iran's broader pattern of operations abroad? Is this consistent with how Tehran has acted in Europe or the United States?
I think this is the most ridiculous accusation against Iran by any country. Iran is a responsible state, and they know their action. When Iran has been attacked, you know, they will go directly and attack their country. They don't care about what other people say, and they will take their retaliation. This has happened against the United States when they attacked the Iranian and killed their officials publicly and declaring that they have killed them. Qasimi and all these people are the Iraqi Abu Muhammad when they killed them inside Iraq. And that's a clear indication Iran went all the way and attacked American base. Similarly, when Israel attacked Iranian territories and the American attacked Iranian territories, they went directly and attacked. Why they should go to far countries and attack Israeli officials or Israeli synagogue or any Israeli officials when they can do it directly next door to us? So I don't see any linking between the two. It's just simply a diplomatic onslaught by Israel against Iran.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wael Arad, for joining us here on NewsX World. Pleasure to have you, and thank you for taking the time.